here. Again, if you are just joining us, welcome. We're so glad you're here. This is the 5 Ways to Get More Christmas Visitors webinar. As you come into the chat room, open up the chat window on the bottom right of your screen and put in your name, your church, your location. If you have a role at the church and you want to share that, that'd be awesome to see as well. And we just love and are encouraged by the fact that there's so many people all over the country who are kind of charging toward the same mission of reaching people for Jesus. And it's an encouragement to see. So glad y'all are here. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and kick into the content here. 5 ways to get more Christmas visitors. Again, just realizing that Christmas is one of the few times in the calendar year where people are disproportionately likely to step foot on your campus. People who either have never been to church or they haven't been to church in a long time. This is one of those few seasons, one of those really ripe opportunities where people are disproportionately likely to come onto your campus. And so every year, we're the stewards of that opportunity. And we as church leaders want to make sure we're stewarding that really well and taking advantage of it. Just to introduce myself, I am Jake. My role here at Outreach is Business Development Director, which just means I help support and lead a team to consult with and work with churches all over the country to give you resources that help you reach your communities more effectively. Before I took the role here at Outreach, I spent 10 years in full-time ministry, doing a variety of roles, a lot of worship leading and worship pastoring, a lot of creative communication, team leadership, and then a lot of teaching and preaching. And that's all stuff that I still engage in regularly, often speaking and teaching at camps or youth events, leading worship at my church and other churches. And so I love that. I just want you to hear from the bottom of my heart that I love the church truly and genuinely. And I love serving ministry leaders. And also, I love Christmas. I am so excited. That is what I look like from here until December 25th. And then again, a few months after that for Christmas in 2025. So I love Christmas. We are talking about 5 ways to reach more visitors, and I just want to get right into it. Number 1 is this: plan a special series or a special screening event. Plan a special series or a special screening event. And we're talking about sermon series. And then when we talk about a special screening event, there's some way that you can use movie and film to draw attention and to draw a crowd and to empower your people to invite their people to step foot on your campus and engage with your community. Particularly, we like to help churches do that with The Chosen, and they have an amazing Christmas special that we help and we support, kind of connecting the dots between The Chosen and churches, providing the licensing so that your church can host a screening event of The Chosen. So when I talk about a special series, you don't at all, have to come to Outreach to find those Christmas series. That's something for you to think through for yourself. You can, write the content for that, think through, depending on how your church usually does preaching and teaching, whether you're more expository by nature or more topical by nature. Think through the question, okay, how do we take this, what we do, and frame it in such a way that sort of elevates the December season, right? Like kind of elevates the Advent season and sets it apart. And with that being said, you absolutely can connect some of those dots with Outreach. We have a number of really comprehensive, thorough, pre-packaged sermon series kits that you can really just, with one click, you can purchase one of these and download really everything you need to run a really thorough, comprehensive, and thoughtful and excellent series for Christmas. Here's what some of those look like right here. Here's The Chosen Christmas. Not only do they have the actual film, the video you can watch, but they've packaged a whole Chosen themed Christmas series that you can look into. And we provide that for free. And then here's some packages that we offer. Experience the Gifts of Christmas is one of our campaign kits that I'm really loving so far this season from what I've seen of it. And when you get one of these kits, it really just comes with everything that's ready to plug and play. That means it comes with sermon manuscripts that you can either stick to like word for word, or you can kind of take as fodder for your own material, and you can tweak it and change it and make it your own. It comes with graphic packages that you can kind of use on all of your communication mediums, online and in your social medias. It comes with the slides and the PowerPoint presentations and the formats for that kind of stuff. So really, again, with one click, you can purchase one of these and be ready to plug in and run one of these Christmas series. And here's what this looks like, through Outreach Films. If you go here, then you have the opportunity to do a screening of The Chosen for free. I just want to say a couple things when I say, planning a special series or a screening event. When you plan something intentional, you give your people an opportunity to engage and a reason to invite. So that's really our heart when we say, hey, do something special. The heart is not that you're doing something gimmicky or some kind of novelty that's just going to be attractive to people. That's not our heart for the church. What it is, it's an opportunity for people to engage, and it's a reason for people to invite other people. It's really just like these handles that people need, like for them to see, oh, something a little different is coming up. Like we're breaking the script a little bit and kind of getting out of the routine of our normal week to week. So there's something identifiable that I can look at, I can engage with it. And not only that, but it gives your people almost an excuse to invite people. In some ways, if you think about it, it's harder for someone to go to their neighbor and invite them just to another kind of normal thing. It's a little bit easier for them to invite them if there's some, quote unquote, something special coming up. Like there's an excuse, again, a reason for them to invite. And I want you to hear this as well. A special series doesn't mean changing your preaching philosophy. Again, I alluded to it earlier. Maybe some of you are much more expository by nature. Maybe some of you are more topical, and maybe there's not a lot of crossover in how you like to structure your preaching calendar. And I just say it's not about changing it. It just means framing what you already do in a way that stands out. So that's kind of our heart in that. And I think about that in my own church. We are a very expository. It's always sort of Bible chapter sequence led. Like we start there and we just kind of build out from there. So we wouldn't necessarily do a topical, Advent series, but we would say, okay, what's the scripture we want to go through? And then it's just a question of how do I frame that in such a way that, again, sort of breaks the routine and helps people see that this is differentiated in some way. And it stands out, again, giving people an excuse to invite. So that's number one, special series or screening event. Number two is this. It is send postcards. Send postcards, send postcards, send postcards. That is near and dear to our hearts at Outreach and something we believe in deeply. And we believe in it for a lot of reasons, but one of them is that as the world becomes more and more digital and the digital landscape gets increasingly cluttered, it seems like the differentiation that creates for a piece of paper, like physical, tangible, something that you can hold in your mailbox, the value of that continues to increase. So in some ways that almost doesn't even make sense for our brains that are constantly thinking, okay, how do we advance technologically? There's so much value and so much opportunity for those who will still engage in the snail mail postcard tactic. The way that we do postcards at Outreach is called Smart Mail. And we think it's the smartest way to do direct mail because direct mail is a huge investment. We want you to make it as smart as possible. So basically what used to be one touch point with direct mail is now at least 4 touch points. So when you go through an ordering process of doing direct mail with Outreach, this is what that looks like. You get the physical piece of direct mail. You get an email sequence that happens through USPS informed delivery. Then there's the opportunity. These 2 things are optional. The texting or the social media integration as well that matches and coordinates with the direct mail campaign. So I'm going to sort of as a parenthetical thing inside of the 5 ways to get more Christmas visitors, I'm going to just walk through these 4 pieces of Smart Mail really quickly, because we want to take any opportunity we can just to help educate and help you understand what is Smart Mail and why is it so smart. Part 1, direct mail. We help with everything from design, targeted mailing lists, printing, postage, and post office delivery. We also have a low price guarantee on this. Benefits of just the physical piece of paper is this: physical presence. It creates a tangible connection, making the message more memorable. There's targeted outreach. You can target specific neighborhoods or demographics, maximizing your investment toward the most receptive audience. And just a word on that really quickly, there's a few different ways to do a direct mail campaign. Number one, that's very common, is just called a saturation mailer. And that's where it just goes to every residential address within a specific radius. The other way you can do it is called a targeted demographic mailing. And this is where you can send it to essentially any kind of criteria that you want to think about. I find myself helping churches do this a lot with kids events or anything that's kind of age and stage focused. So they're doing a VBS coming up within 12 in the home. So we can do that. We get, and that becomes the list to outreach. It's a great way to waste. Check, check. Check, check. Hello? Are you guys hearing me okay? Little bad. Check, check, check. I am so sorry about that. I am just now realizing some of your messages were coming in. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay? Check, check, check. Okay, so this is working. Okay, I'm going to keep going, praying for the technical difficulty on that. I'm going to keep running through this stuff. If that keeps happening, my deepest apologies, but we'll keep kind of running through, and hopefully that doesn't happen. So these are the three benefits to the physical direct mail. Part two for the direct mail, the smart mail, is informed delivery. This is a powerful digital marketing tool included with every mailing, free through USPS. With over 62.4 million users, you will increase your postcard reach by 43.5%. So that's 13% more reach, 39% more attention to the postcard. If you're not familiar with what informed delivery is, it's when you get an email from USPS of the items that are in your mailbox. And so these stats come from knowing that people who will get your direct mail in their mailbox are also getting an email with an image and even a click-through link embedded in that of the same image. 37% more responses due to the second and third impressions, and 20% more conversions of people visiting your website, which is a massive shift. I hope you just realize that. 20% more conversions of people seeing that and then clicking through to your website. Massive improvement. Some stats with informed delivery is that 62% average informed delivery open rate. So for those informed delivery emails, that's 62% average. That's about 3 times higher than industry standards on email open rates. So that's the second piece of the smart mail. The third piece is a texting sequence that we can set up on your physical piece of mail with a QR code that we get through a company called Glue that we partner with. So when a person scans the QR code on your postcard, it'll start a text conversation that your staff can respond to or you can respond to. It creates a two-way interaction and makes a visit much more likely. So if you can imagine, they get home, they get an email saying that this piece of mail is in their mailbox. So then they go out to the mailbox, they get the physical piece of mail that's in their mailbox, and then they see a QR code on that. They scan it with their phone, and immediately it drops them right into their own messages app, and it begins a text conversation with whoever wants to manage that. And then the fourth piece of that is just social media ads. Our team can create and run matching ads on Facebook and Instagram to target the same homes as your postcard with an invitation to church. So like I said at the beginning, What used to be just one touch point is that someone would go to a mailbox and get this physical piece of mail. Now it's at least 4 touch points with the same, really one process, one design, one piece of messaging, but they're going to get that messaging at least 4 times through that same singular process. So I know that's a lot I'm kind of throwing at you. I'll breathe for a second. Number 1 was a special series or a special screening event that can kind of draw attention and create momentum at your church. Number 2 was the direct mail campaign through what we call Smart Mail. Number 3 is utilizing digital and social ads. Now, this can also be its own thing. That's why it's a separate. You don't have to do a direct mail campaign to still utilize digital and social ads, and you can do this without that. And you can also do direct mail without digital and social ads. So with digital and social, guys, I'm so excited about some of the recent developments we have for Outreach Social. It really is becoming this comprehensive package that can kind of deliver everything you need to run a really compelling social media presence for your church. We're calling it your all-inclusive church social management platform, and it can go as low as $19 a month. Some of the things that you can do on this are AI-powered sermon clips. So I'm not sure if you're ever scrolling through Instagram or Facebook and you see, this short clip that's just a portion of the sermon from Sunday, and there's captions that are auto-generated onto that. And it's very shareable. It's very compelling. It's very cool and easy to watch. And so we can do that through our social management platform. Essentially, you just upload your video, like your YouTube link of your sermon, right into this platform, and then it'll spit back out recommendations for, based on the AI, it'll spit back out recommendations for the time frames that might make a good clip. And then you can customize that, of course, but it'll give you recommendations. They'll say, hey, maybe try this clip right here because it seems like, the pastor was really kind of leaning in on this idea or that kind of thing. And then it'll auto-generate the captions that play with that. It's a graphics library with automated social media scheduler. It's the second thing. You can really, literally schedule a whole year's worth of automated graphic posts within just a few minutes. And here's just some of the pricing on that for what it's worth. You can scale down to $19 a month, all the way up to $79 a month if you pay annually. And there's some of the features in each of those. I won't go into too much detail there. You can find all of this on our social or on our digital .outreach page. So I'll keep moving. And before I show you that, I wrote this in this morning because we're at this conference over here in the Bay Area in California. And I heard something yesterday in one of these workshops. He said, imagine I told you I want to move to China to be a missionary, but I don't want to learn Mandarin. You would say, I don't think you're going to be very effective. Like, with all due respect, I think you need to learn Mandarin. So here's my question. If digital is the native tongue of our culture, what does it look like for you to be a missionary, right? Like if digital is increasingly the way that our culture operates, for better or worse, and there's goods and there's bads to it. We all know that. And this isn't a commentary or a critique on the digital age. It's just an observation. If digital is increasingly the native tongue of our culture, what does it mean for you to be a missionary? Essentially for you to do the work and to learn the Mandarin, right? If you want to be a missionary to China. So engage, utilize the digital ads, the social ads. That is number 3. Number 4, encourage personal invitation. The best way that we've found to do this is through what we call the invitation stations. And it's such a simple idea, but I think it's so beautiful and kind of profound. Just a simple piece of hardware that you can put out in the lobby at your church, where I'm not sure if you can kind of see, if you zoom into that sign, it's a 2x3 coroplast sign on a nice stand, but then adhered to the front and to the back of the sign, you can have these card holders that hold invite cards. So again, it's a 23-inch by 35.5-inch rigid sign. And then there's these acrylic card holders. So essentially at the end of every service, you just want to send your people out tell them, hey, stop by the invitation station, grab some of these cards, because it's not just the pastor's job to invite people to church. It is the church's job to invite people to church. You want to equip your people to go be the church and extend the invitation. If you kind of get into the nitty gritty of, well, what do invitations look like? They can look really any which way. We love the circle invites and how those just look a little different and kind of pop. You can do these cool little square invite cards, some medium, sort of classic, traditional looking, invite cards. We have the business card size, which that's my personal favorite just because they fit super easy in your pocket. So it's very natural for you to carry a stack of those business card invite cards with you. And then when you're on the soccer field or you are chatting with your neighbor, it's like you stick your hand in your pocket and you remember, oh, there's invites here. And the Holy Spirit convicts you that you should pull out an invite card and hand it to the person next to you. That's what I hope and pray happens with those. The way I think about these invite cards and the invitation station altogether, this is you putting the ball on the tee and letting your people just take a swing. Okay, it's you just setting them up for the win and letting them just take a huge swing and hopefully hit a home run. I mean, that's really it. That people, I think they just need an excuse, like a reason or a push to do the inviting. Because like if we're, this struggle, we all know this struggle. It can just kind of feel awkward sometimes to go and be sitting in a normal context that's not really like, we're not talking about church. We're not talking about spiritual things, but my pastor really wants me to invite them to church. It feels awkward. A lot of people just feel like, I don't know how to even start the conversation. Like, I don't even know what I could say. And essentially when you give them a stack of invite cards, it's more than just pieces of paper. You're giving them this sense of equipping, this sense of empowerment, and really instilling this sense of confidence and courage in them, saying, you can do this. It's literally as simple as pulling a card out of your pocket and taking it from your hand and putting it in their hand. And say what it is, and that's it. It can be as simple as that. So you're really putting the ball on the tee and just letting your people take a swing. So that's number 4. Number 5, dial in your signage. Dial in your signage, and I'll just kind of breeze through this fairly quickly. There's so many different sizes and materials and ways to do this. You can look at some of these. These are kind of larger outdoor vinyl banners, some of our recent Christmas designs. And if you go on outreach.com, go to the banner tab, and then click on Christmas, you can kind of just scroll through those, and there's dozens and dozens of preset Christmas designs. Maybe it's not an outdoor vinyl, but it's one of these flag banners. These are great. You can kind of stake them right into the grass out in front of your church, or you can get a base that goes right on concrete. And those create a really cool impression because they're super tall, and they just look really clean. Or maybe it's an indoor 2x6 banner. I'm loving this look. It's called Holly and Ivy. I think it's going to be a super cool, fresh look. And there's another one that was on the row beneath it that obviously had the 4th piece of Advent there that I didn't screenshot for this one. But there's what a couple of those indoor banners look like. And here's what I want you to hear. When we say dial in your signage, banners are so much more than exponential. It's largely about church planting and church revitalization. And you have a lot of conversations with people, and a lot of times people have varying degrees of passion for church marketing, right? So it's, and I'm the same way. It's like, I don't want to promote the brand of my church. Like, that's not, I don't care about that. Like, I want to grow the kingdom. I want people to come to know Jesus through the gospel and to give their life to him and grow in their faith. Like, that's what I really, really want. Well, banners and signage, though it seems so simple and so like kind of brandy and markety, they're such a good gift to people because it's the gift of clarity and hospitality. It means that they know where your church is. They know what time your service is. They know what the name of your church is. And then when they get onto your campus, it just means they know where stuff is. Like they know where the bathrooms are at. They know where to check in their kids. They know if you're doing a special sermon series, they know what to expect as they're walking into your sanctuary or your worship center. And through all of that, you're just giving people this gift of not feeling like they don't belong. Like that's the most beautiful thing about this is if you imagine a visitor coming onto your campus, maybe it's somebody who hasn't been to church in 20 years. And maybe the last time they were at church, they felt really hurt by something, or they still carry with them a sense of bitterness or resentment about the church altogether. For some reason, they're back on campus. And one of the best things you can do for them is just help communicate the message. Hey, you can feel like you belong here. You don't have to feel awkward. You don't have to feel lost or confused. You can feel in essentially like you can feel like you're part of this. Even if you're just coming for the first time, you can feel just like you're part of this as much as anyone else. So it's more than promo. It's the gift of clarity and the gift of hospitality. So that's it. Okay, we kept it tight. We did it. It's 28 after. With that being said, those are 5 ways to get more visitors this Christmas season. Now, I just want to open it up. And like I said, I'm in no hurry. I can hang out as long as anybody wants to hang out. But right now, if you want to, either in the chat window, you can type out some questions or discussion or anything like that. Or also, you're totally welcome to unmute your microphone and you can speak out and we can hear your voice as well. So go for it. Any questions?
Hi, I have one, Jake.
Yeah. Hi, Susan.
Hi. So on the invitation card, what does it say?
Great question. It can say essentially anything you want it to say, with the caveat that we sell a
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
certain, main message. Like it might say you're invited, or join us this Sunday, or Christmas, or joy, like whatever. So you can take that, but then all of the details, of course, are customizable. It'll say Christmas at your church name. So we'll insert your church name there, and then on the back of it, most of it is kind of built as templates for things, and then the content within the templates are customizable. So on the back, there might be room for, 5 lines of text. That's a paragraph to tell some details about your church. And so then through that, you tell some details about your church. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I was thinking that it might contain like what's coming up, like all the different activities coming up in the month of December, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You can absolutely do that. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Susan. Anybody else? Any questions?
All right. Thank you, Jake. I'm going to leave now. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Susan. Great having you here. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Church outside the US. Have you sent any of the stand-ups or other promotional material? I actually don't know the answer to that, Christo, but it's a great question. We will find out the answer for sure, or any other team members who are in the call can respond as well. I'll certainly find that out and connect with you, Christo. Where are you located? Maybe we'll connect. Oh, Netherlands. Awesome. Cool. I'll just allow just another minute for any questions. Awesome. Well, I'll go ahead and call this call to a close officially. Everybody, so glad that you're with us today. Once again, this was just 5 ways to reach more visitors this Christmas season. We will be praying for your churches. We genuinely mean that as you pursue what God has for you and your church in this Christmas season. Grateful for the work and the ministry that you're doing all across the country, and grateful that you chose to spend a few minutes with us today. So thank you so much, everybody. We'll go ahead and stop recording, and we will close the call.